So you're going to take your blankets. We're going to do Supta Konasana, but rather than using a bolster, we're going to use a stack of blankets. They just give a different kind of support is all. And especially since I think all of us kind of have the bigger bolsters. So you're just going to take two of your blankets and you're going to fold them lengthwise in half like a bolster. And you'll flop two of those down. And then you'll take one blanket, the way we would sit on it if we were sitting, and we'll put that down as a little pillow. All right, so that would just go down at the end of those blankets. All right, and then you can use a strap if you'd like, or go without. You can use the strap in whatever fashion you would like to use it, over your torso, between the knees, over the feet, or just over the legs. Utthita Konasana. So feet together, knees wide. Yes. All right, so just a little Supta Konasana as we're all getting in here. Arms can be wherever they feel comfortable. Right, down by your sides, out to the side. If you'd like, you can touch the elbows, take the arms over the head, and let the arms rest on the blanket above your head. Nice soft eyes, soft forehead. Slowly start to deepen your inhalation, but don't bring any strain into the chest, throat, the eyes, the forehead. So for a little while, you may have to be stopping, maybe mid-chest. Maybe it doesn't come all the way up to the collarbones. That's fine. Just don't let it stress. If you have your arms over your head, do the opposite cross of the forearm. Again, a couple of deeper breaths. Couple more nice deep breaths. right, if your arms are over your head, bring them down by your side. And then press with your arms to sit up. And you can just straighten out your legs. With your hands on the floor, just press down, lift up, lengthen your back. All right, now we're going to get rid of the blanket. So you can just make a pile to one side somewhere. And you'll need a strap. You're going to make that loop in your strap so that you can hold the loop and take the leg up in the air. All right, so if your leg is out here, all right, that's a pretty big loop, right? Take that loop around, and I don't want you holding the strap, I want you holding inside the loop so you can shorten that loop to find that distance where you can have a nice straight arm and hold the leg. Left leg is going to stay bent for this first go. All right, and then I want you to make a nice straight leg. All right, so think of with that strap, you're pulling down on the strap and you're trying to move your shin toward your head. And you can even take your left hand and put it on the quadricep, on the front of your thigh. You're pushing the thigh away from you. All right, so with your hand on the strap, you're pulling the shin bone towards you and pushing the thigh away from you. So the back of the knee is opening. All right, and then you're going to turn that right inner elbow towards your nose. And then you're going to draw that shoulder down towards the floor. So that's going to bring your foot a little closer to your head. So most of us, when we do this, we end up reaching up. The shoulder is protracted. All right, so I just want you to retract that shoulder and try to press that shoulder down into the floor. Shin bone towards your head, thigh away from your head. Long, slow exhalations. All right, and then bend the knee, release the foot, set that right foot down, and now we'll do the left leg. And we can be different from side to side. So if you need to adjust your loop, bigger or smaller for the left leg, adjust the loop. All right, pulling with that strap to bring the shin bone toward you with your right hand there at the kind of just below the knee on the thigh. Press the thigh away from you and really open up the back of the knee, the back of the leg. Focus on the exhalation here. That teaches those stretch receptors that they can relax, they can let go. All right, now keeping that thigh moving away from you, shin bone towards you. Turn that inner left elbow toward your head. And then draw that shoulder down. So you're really pulling. It's a bigger stretch. Press that shoulder down into the floor. Nice, gentle breath. Eyes are soft. Forehead is soft. All right, and then bend the knees, step the feet down. Just take a breath. All right, now, don't use the strap right now, but keep it like right there on your belly so it's handy. Straighten your left leg. All right, and it's not just the leg resting on the floor. Extend through the heel, dorsiflex the toes, and press that front of the thigh to the back of the thigh, and then bend your right leg and either hold the shin or behind the thigh. Pull that knee up towards your chest. I'm just going to hold this position for a bit. Again, dorsiflex the foot on the right side as well. So pull the toes towards the shin and extend through the heel. And then lift that knee as high as it will go. Try to get it in your armpit. Nice, gentle breaths. Keeping your eyes and your face soft. They do not help this stretch at all. All right, now you can release the shin. You're going to take your strap now, and you're still going to use your loop. All right, take it around the foot. But what I want you to do is I want you to catch the strap right by the foot to begin with. So you're keeping the knee bent, and you're reaching down there and holding the strap next to the foot. All right, and you're pulling on that strap as you press the foot back into the strap. Keep that left leg engaged. Right, now you're going to slowly start to unbend that right foot, that right knee. And then at some point, you're going to have to start letting your hands slide into the loop to straighten the leg. All right, this is going to feel a little more intense because we've changed the position of the pelvis. All right, when the left knee was bent, there was a posterior tilt to the pelvis. Now there's an anterior tilt to the pelvis. All right, so it does feel a little more intense. Try to maintain that straight leg. You can go way out into just your fingertips. You can always make the loop a little bigger if you need to. Now we're going to turn that inner elbow towards the nose. All right, and then to your capacity, you're going to retract that shoulder. It may not go all the way to the floor. Try again, retract a little more. Press up through the foot. I want you to try to break the straps. We only have to use them to July 2nd, right? Anybody that breaks the strap between now and July 2nd wins $100. No fair sneaking in scissors. Especially over there in the hat shop where there's probably lots of scissors. All right. Bend your knee, release your foot. Straighten your leg. Just let both legs rest. Flat on the floor. Notice the difference in the two sides. has to be a balance between unnecessary tension and appropriate tension, right? Unnecessary tension in this pose is your eyes, your forehead, your lips, anything above the neck being tight. All right, so you want to maintain that softness. That keeps the nervous system quiet. All right, the necessary tension is in the leg that stays on the floor, right? Extending through that heel, pressing down through the thigh. And then that connection of the hand to the foot. Or in this case, it's through the strap. Right? So extend the right leg, press down through the thigh. Just bend your left knee. You're just going to hold the shin and pull that knee towards your chest. Dorsiflex both feet. So toes to shins. Press out through the heels. Right thigh towards the floor. And just gradually increasing the pressure on that left shin bone, pulling that knee higher and higher towards your armpit. Couple of deep breaths. Breath will be a little bit harder to get because the thigh's on the diaphragm. All right, now find your strap. Take the strap around your foot, but hold the strap right next to the foot and pull on that strap as you push the foot into the strap. Now, without moving your hand, unbend your knee to your capacity. All right, and now the hand can slide on the strap as you push that leg up towards the ceiling. More intensity here because of the tilt of the pelvis. But maintain that nice tight connection. You're trying to rip that strap in half. Turn that inner elbow towards your head. And then see, can you pull the shoulder any amount towards the floor? Long, slow exhalations. And then see, can you pull that shoulder any more towards the floor? Right, and then bend your knee, release the strap, just straighten the leg along the floor. All right, now bend your knees, roll to your side. Press to sit up, and then everybody's going to get a chair. All right, everybody's going to get a chair. We're going to take the chairs to the wall. And here they're going to use the ropes as a can. At home, you're going to use a strap. So I'll show you both versions. Thank you. Snap out of the way. And I'll just take that chair and use it. Oh, okay. It's this one. All right, so if you can just step up on the step back there. Your chair's fine. All right, so you're going to take your chair to the wall. All right, you're going to have the back of the chair against the wall, maybe a little gap. All right, if you're tender at the back of your heel, you can put a blanket or a mat over it. That would be fine. All right, so we're going to essentially repeat what we just did. All right, we're going to do it two different ways. So those of you who the back of the chair isn't tall enough can get a bigger stretch. So you're either going to use a loop in your strap so that it'll go around the foot and you can hold in the handles, all right? Or if you need more distance than that, you can open the strap up all the way and just go into this loop, okay? All right, so at home, all right, y'all will have to use the strap, all right? So you'll have to find the distance that this works best for you. The left foot will be on the floor, the right heel will be on the chair, and then you'll take and put that strap around the foot, all right? So I still want there to be a connection between the hand and the foot so that when I say pull and retract the shoulders, you can get that lift in the chest. All right, and here, y'all have the advantage of the ropes. You still want to be reaching up so the elbows are straight because this isn't going to give you any support. All right, this will allow you to just lean back and take the foot just to the back of the chair to begin with. All right. Okay, so everybody will be standing on their left foot, taking their right heel to the back of the chair. If it's ouchy, put a little blanket or a sticky mat, something on the back of the chair. All right. Be careful. You can put your foot onto the seat of the chair and then lift it up. And I'm not going to be a huge stickler on this, but you want that left foot to be as close to under the hip as possible. If it's a little behind you, that's fine. But don't let it be, well, clearly too close. You would notice if it was too close. And don't let it be too far away to where you're leaning forward into the post. Now, look down at your left foot and make the inner edge of the foot parallel to something. Everybody's floors are different. Now, we're not going to worry too much about the standing leg. All right? The standing leg is up there. It's on the chair. The gravity is pushing the knee down. I want you to focus on the standing leg. Did I say straight leg? They're both straight.
No, you said standing, so
okay. We're going to focus on the standing leg. We're not going to focus on the lifted leg. I know I confused myself. I got to clarify. The leg that's on the chair, it's just there. All right? The standing leg is what I want you to think about. All right? So lift your toes of that left foot, and you'll feel your weight shifts back a little bit. Find that front edge of the heel. All right, and the big toe knuckle, there should be pressure in the big toe knuckle, but also on that outer fifth metatarsal, so the pinky side of the toe. All right, and then I want you to push the floor down 6 inches. So don't just stand on the floor, press down, and as you press down, lift up the front of your leg. Lift up at the front of your hip, lift up your abdomen, and then with your hands, retract those shoulders and pull that upper back in. Beautiful. Couple of breaths. All right, and then you can bend the knee. Careful at home where you don't have the ropes. Just stand in Konasana facing your chair for a moment. You might need to bend both knees a little bit. They get blocked, especially that standing one. Okay, and then we're going to do that on the other side. All right, so right foot on the floor, left leg lifts, goes to the back of the chair. Those of you at home will have to get your straps ready to go. Once it's up, look down at that right foot. Make sure the inner edge of the foot is parallel. Oh, wow. You're doing good. Don't worry about the lifted leg, the leg on the back of the chair. Got it right that time. Just like gravity, push that knee down. Think about the standing leg. Lift your toes. Let the weight come to more kind of the front edge of the heel. Don't have the weight in the toes. Big toe knuckle is down. Fifth metatarsal is down. And then you've got that weight in the heel. Now push that leg down and lift the whole front of the leg up. Lift it up towards your hip. Lift the front of the hip. Lift the abdomen. And then pull with your arms to retract those shoulders. Pull that upper back in. Nice strong back. And release the foot carefully. And just stand in Tadasana. All right. And Robin, if you'll just step back this way for a moment, let me use your spot. All right, so now you have the option. We're going to repeat. We're going to do it one more time. All right, we're kind of doing forward bends without doing forward bends.
Yeah.
All right, so those of you at home will have your strap. And you can take that strap around the foot. All right, and then you can either go to the back of the chair. All right, or get a little closer to the chair and you can throw that foot up onto the wall. All right. So you can go as high as feels comfortable for you. Got it? Hold close to the foot on the strap so you can really pull and get in. All right, and so same thing here. Fine to repeat on the chair if that was plenty. Otherwise, you can kind of lean back, take the foot up, any amount higher is fine. I'm throwing mine pretty high. You don't have to, okay? All right, give it a go. If you're going up onto the wall, you will have to be a little closer to the chair. Fine to just use the back of the chair again. If that was plenty stretch, you have to listen. Again, not worrying too much about the standing leg or lifted leg. Just make it straight. That's all you're doing is making it straight. Look down at your left toes, left foot. Make that inner edge of the foot parallel. Press down into that left heel, so lift your toes. Feel weight in the big toe knuckle, the pinky toe, and then that middle part of the heel there. And press down like you're trying to press the floor down 6 inches. Make yourself feel taller. Because when we press down, we can lift up. And then turning those inner elbows to face the ceiling. Pull with your arms. Retract those shoulder blades. Make that upper back move in. All right, and then carefully coming out. Set the foot down. Just stand in Tadasana and stare at the wall for a moment. Letting things soak a bit. All right, and then we'll do the next side. All right, so standing on your right foot, taking your left leg up. Now, you can take this leg higher or lower, right? If it's got more or less flexibility than the right leg, put it where it wants to be. You don't have to do the same on both sides. Look down at those right foot. Make sure the inner edge of the foot is parallel. Just lift your heel. There you go. Just make the leg that's on the chair or the wall, just make it straight. Don't worry too much about it. And then press down into the big toe knuckle, pinky toe of the right foot and the heel so you can lift your toes. That'll get the heel. And as you press down, lift yourself up. Lift the shin bone, lift the quadricep. The knees in between there. Shin bone, knee, quadricep. Lift the front of your hip. Lift your abdomen. Lift your chest. Turn those elbows to the ceiling and pull. Make your upper back move in. Work those upper backs. Right, and then bend the left knee. Just be in Tadasana. And soften both knees if that standing leg feels a little locked. Take a couple of breaths there. All right, now you can move the chairs. We're not done with them. We're going to use them at the end of class. Well, I thought that said 9:52. I was like, what? You'll need your strap. Although you don't have to use the strap, you can hold your toe. And you're going to have your back to the wall. You don't need that. All right, so I promised balance every class in May, so we're going to balance. Now, you have already done this pose 2 different ways. All right, you have done this pose laying down, maximum stability. You have done this pose using the chair for support. So everybody can get their leg parallel to the floor. Right? You were just there. All right. So have confidence you can do that. All right. And then some of you got your foot even higher than the chair. That's what you're aiming for. Whatever you did for that second pose, that's what you're aiming for. Now watch me first. I'm not going to, last night I had everybody just do the pose, but I'm not going to have you just do the pose. I want you to watch the steps that I'm going to go through. All right. So you can lean against the wall to get the strap around your foot. All right. It's going to go right around that front edge of the heel. All right. And then when you pick it up, you're going to grab close to the foot, just like we did laying down. All right. And this is our first place that we're going to balance. Your buttocks are going to come off the wall. Your hand can stay on the wall, your little Spider-Man hand. All right, we did this laying down, and remember we talked about the leg on the floor. So here it's the standing leg. Lift the toes, press, and lift yourself up high. Then we're going to unbend the knee as much as we can. All right, and then here is where, I'm going to go sideways just a little bit. Here is where you can let that strap slide. But you push that foot forward. All right? And nice tight connection between the hand and the foot. If you can let go, you let go. If you need to keep the hand on the wall, keep the hand on the wall. All right? Don't turn like I did. That was just to show them the hand. All right? Stay straight ahead. This is going to work your hands. You're going to feel it in your hands. All right? So lean against the wall. Take the strap around the front edge of the right heel. All right? First iteration here is to hold close to the foot and then stand up straight. All right, and already you're pulling up on the strap as you press down with your foot. That's all you need to do with that leg. It's the left leg. Lift the toes. Find the 3 corners of the foot. Big toe, pinky toe, heel. Then you'll unbend as much as you can. And then you push that foot forward. Try to be parallel to the floor at least. And then if you can, take the hand to your hip or out to the side and balance. Hold to your capacity. That's good, Robin. Stay there. Or don't hold the rope. Okay, hand on the wall. The rope isn't going to be steady. All right, now bend your knee, release your strap. Manushi, that looks great. And then just be in Tadasana. All right, buttocks to the wall. Strap around the right foot, I believe. Don't feel it in your hands. This is building that grip strength. Same foot? I'm opposite foot. Whichever side. All right, go to that interim step. Hand close to the foot, lifting up. Press that standing foot down into the floor and lift up, lift up, lift up. Now unbend your knee as much as you can. And then from there, you push the leg forward as you pull back with your arm. Nice tight connection. Suspension bridge. Retract that shoulder blade. And then bend the knee, release, and just be in Tadasana. We did it. We balanced. All right, one more time, just kind of on your own. I'm not going to bark out a lot of instructions. But remember, for balance, it's the standing leg and the tension between the arm and the leg that's up in the air. All right, if you're trying to bend your elbow and pull, you're just going to wibble wobble. All right, so leaning back on the wall, strap around the foot. Go to that interim stage. Don't just rush to the final pose. Find your balance in that interim stage. Lifting up, getting that standing leg established. And when you're ready, move on. If you can release your hand from the wall, you can put it on your hip. It can go out to the side. And then when you're ready, bend the knee and release. Just be in Tadasana for a moment. Both feet on the floor. All right, now opposite side. Remember, of the leg that you're lifting, the only thing you need to think about is tight connection between the hand and the foot. Having it above parallel or above, it definitely helps with balance. But that also comes from flexibility. It's the standing leg. Straighten that standing leg. Press that thigh bone back. That's it. When you're ready, you can go to unbending and pushing. Legs straight out in front. Yeah. You can release the hand up the wall if you'd like. All right, and then bend the knee, release. Feet on the floor if you need to kind of soften the knee. That standing leg really gets locked. Be in Tadasana for a moment. Whew, all right, we need to go back to the mats. And we're going to need a blanket. You're either going to love me or hate me now. We're just going to have some fun. I don't care what your progress is. We're just going to have some fun because not all of us like forward bends. So we're just going to play. We're just going to play. It's not about the pose, nothing like that. All right, so you're going to take one blanket. We'll eventually probably throw in a few more blankets for those of you that want to give something a go. So have it at shoulder stand size, but put it on your mat long ways. All right, this is just going to be some padding. All right, and so you're going to lay down. You can put that towards the head side of the mat. You're going to lay down on that blanket. So you've got the head. The head may not be on, but I want your spine on. So your buttocks are on the blanket, and then your shoulders are on the blanket. It's almost like you're in a shoulder stand, but the support is all the way underneath your buttocks. So we're kind of going to combine abdominal work and forward bends here. All right. So now give this a go. You can watch me once if you want to, because it's weird instructions. You're going to, from here, sit up in a cross-legs position. So you just lift your legs and cross your ankles. All right. And then you're going to roll yourself up. And then you're gonna roll. So you're gonna flex the spine and roll yourself down. And then you'll do the opposite cross of the legs. You can use your arms, you can use your legs. You need to push or pull, you can push or pull. Give it a go. And if all you do is sit there and go like this, that's fine too. Trust me, you'll be working your abs more if you don't sit up. Give it a go. Let the spine round. Don't just flop back. Roll along the spine. There you go. And then you do the opposite cross of the legs. You're going to do 3 on each side. You can press with your hands. You can use a lot of momentum, whatever you need. Go. And once you've done 3 on each side, then just rest. And say in your head, what are you doing, crazy lady? Yes. I see the methods of the madness.
I need it.
It's just a fun way of getting some forward bends and some abdominal work in. All right, is everybody done? All right, so now you're going to try Padangusthasana. All right, so soles of the feet together. And then same thing. I find this one a little bit easier, to be honest. Not everybody does, but I do. Probably because I can't cross my legs very well. Yeah, all right. And as you get the feet onto the floor, you can kind of lean into the forward bend a little bit. 3 times. And then just rest. All right, so I'm going to see if this is starting to bother the back. You'll just go to the forward bends. Okay. All right, everybody's done 3. All right, so now we're going to do straight legs. They don't have to be straight when you're here. All right, but as you come up, you'll straighten the legs and you'll reach forward. Maybe you touch your toes, maybe not. You don't hold it until the 3rd one. All right, on your 3rd one, whatever you can reach, you'll grab. Maybe that's your shin bones. You'll be in your forward bend after your 3rd one. All right, give it a go. Rocking and rolling. You can use as much momentum as you can muster. And then just be in your forward bend. And some of you may surprise yourselves with your forward bend, how it feels. All right? So this is a little more of going into the forward bend with a flexed spine. Lots of times, you know, we sit up straight, we maintain that concave back, and it's different. It's a big stretch in the backs of the legs. But I'm letting you do a little bit more of a rounded back today. All right, and then roll back again, rest. All right, so this time you'll bring your right leg into Baddha Konasana. Your left leg will be straight. So it'll be kind of like a Janu Sirsasana, not quite. All right, so you'll come up like this. All right, one leg bent, that foot will be against the thigh, and you'll reach forward. And then you'll come back. All right, and then again on the 3rd one, you'll grab. Okay? Feeling a little abdominal work, little bit of hamstrings. Good. On the 3rd one, you'll hold. Be in your forward bend. Take it to your capacity. If you can do the clasp with your hands, do the clasp with your hands. From that kind of rounded back position, go as deep as you can. Couple of breaths. All right, and then laying back. We have to do this on the other side now. All right, so left leg will be bent, right leg will be straight. Bring yourself up. Reach forward 3 times. On the 3rd time, you hold. Your legs can go into any position when you roll back. They can stay in the forward bend position. They can curl into a ball, whatever kind of helps you get up and down. And then go as deep into the forward bend as you can go. All right, and then roll backwards and relax. All right, so now we're going to have a couple of options. All right. First option is, this is more like a reverse crunch, if you will. All right. So first option is going to be to start from a little bit more of a sitting up position. All right. And then you'll just roll back and lift your buttocks as high as you can lift them. All right. So I'm just lifting my buttocks off the floor. All right. Second option, and this is for those of you that practice shoulder stand, is to not use quite so much momentum. All right. You can use your hands and your arms pressing down, but this is to just pull the legs up. All right. And you can go all the way to toes to floor if you want. All right. You're not doing a full halasana. You're not getting your hips all the way up in the air. So it shouldn't be tight on the neck. All right. So you decide. We can do it a couple of times. So if you want to start with the momentum version, sitting up, and then you just roll back and lift the buttocks. That can be stage 1. And then stage 2, why don't you scoot forward a little bit? Just if you do slide, I don't want you to hit your head. Okay. All right. All right. Give it a go. Yeah. Doesn't matter how far you get, just do something so that you feel, that the abdominal work is there. And you're doing the momentum one and you want to switch to the just laying down one and see if you can pick over from there, then do that. So you'll do like 6, either 6 at one version or 3 and 3. And then when you're done, you can just rest. Just rest when you're done. You can take your feet as wide as the mat and do some little windshield wipers to the right, to the left if you'd like. There's more to that, but darn it, there's no class this Thursday. Maybe we'll do it next week. I can't do it. So no worries, I can't do it. All right. Let's move into a little bit of restorative here. Let's do this. Let's take this blanket out. So roll to your side and sit up. Let's take this blanket and let's fold it into a little pillow. So fold it in half and then fold it in half again. All right. And that's going to go between your knees. But what we're going to do is maybe before you put it between your knees, we're going to move the hips all the way to the right-hand side of the mat. Then put that blanket between the knees and drop the legs to the left. All right, and your right arm can reach out to the side. Let those legs relax. You want a nice soft abdomen here. We're not doing this as an abdominal pose. So let the legs be heavy on the floor. Your Right foot, who knows where it's gonna be? Mine's kind of suspended in midair. Sometimes it's touching my other foot, but it's just flopping in midair right now. Turn the belly and turn your head to the right. And then take a couple of deep breaths. All right, and then grab that blanket, remove the blanket, bring your knees back upright, and you'll take your hips all the way to the left-hand side of the mat. Blanket between the knees and drop the legs off to the right. Head and belly turn to the left. You can reach that left arm out to the side. Right here, left arm a little bit over. No, that's your right. Left arm, bring it lower towards your, there you go, that lower button. Yeah. Big deep breath. All right, and then remove the blanket. That just makes it easier. Bring that knees back upright. Line up your hips and your shoulders. And just rest there for a moment. All right, and then roll to your side. Slowly sit up. Let's grab our chairs back again. And you can use the chair either forward or backwards. It doesn't matter. Some people have a preference and some people don't. We're just going to start with the calves on the back of the chair. You have on shorts. You can put a thin blanket to the chair if you don't want to feel the cold. All right. You can have a blanket behind your head if you want it. That's optional. All right, so we'll just lay down. Take the calves onto the back of the chair, and you can scooch your buttocks. And, woo! That's cool. As close, sorry, as close to the chair as you can get. You're not going to be a perfect 90-degree angle, but be nice and comfy here. Legs can be as wide as the chair. Legs can be wherever positioned on the chair feels comfortable. And then some support behind your head if you would like. If you want to just stay laid flat, that's fine. Grab the sides of the sticky mat and give your shoulder blades a tuck toward your waist. Then kind of lift your hips, or with your hands, just grab your buttocks and pull them towards the chair. Lower back should feel nice and flat. And then just have your arms wherever they feel most comfortable below the height of the shoulders. So they can be on the floor, they can be resting on your torso. Remember, the feeling the breath through the palms of your hands helps to trigger that parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest nervous system. For this first couple of minutes, I want you to bring your attention inward. Focus on your breath, sensation in your body, sound in the room, an image, whatever works for you, whatever you can draw your focus towards. As your mind wanders, just bring it back with a breath. Slowly release that effort of maintaining your attention, your focus. Your mind wanders someplace you don't want it to be, then bring it back away from that. But if it just goes to the grocery store, let it shop. Bend your elbows down, let your palms be on your abdomen, your rib cage, maybe one both, so you can feel that breath. Take a couple of deeper breaths. And then slowly bring your knees in towards your chest. If you need to move your chair, be very careful as you push it, that you're not pushing over. And then roll to your side, whichever side is most comfortable or convenient. Take all the time that you want on your side. Some days rolling to my side just feels so good. Other days I want to jump out. When you're ready, press with your arms to sit up. Any seated position is fine. Any way you face is fine. Take a moment to thank yourself for coming to class, continuing your practice. And slowly raise your head. Slowly open your eyes. Have a very lovely day.